Shalom, giving all praises to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh by Yeshem, Yahweh Shai by Yeshem Wakar Hakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of New York and Connecticut. Peace and many salutations to you brothers out there that's toiling in the truth, which include the affiliated brothers. And peace and hearty shalom, which that's what peace means. A hearty shalom to you, Akim Yakwath, that are listening. Okay, so I was listening to the elder Ashiar's sit down, going into the famine, the actual famine that's going to occur here in Babylon the Great. He was going into how the beef industry is being stricken heavily by regulation and also inflation. This video here, I'm not going to play it, that the elder had played, had a alarming statistic. It was like billions of beef hasn't been produced this year, or some to the degree of the industry is in a deficit of £1 billion, something like that. Something to that nature. Substantial. In any event, it's a substantial amount that the industry hasn't produced this year. And I encourage you guys to take a look at this video. As you know, I was listening to it. The elder had made a great point of how you have these foreign nations buying up farmland, and that nation that's buying up a substantial amount of farmland here in the U.S. is the Chinese. Okay, biblical name. The biblical name is Moab. So you have the Moabites that are buying these various farmlands to produce several things. One of the things that they're producing is fentanyl. Fentanyl is a chemical that was created in China. Okay, along with other things that they're creating, the ingredients to this fake food, you know, that they want to produce. So I bring all that out to say that you have the American government making pacts with the Chinese government that's not advantageous for the American people. And I truly believe that, the elite have pulled a plug on the U.S. Okay. And we're seeing America circling down the drain. Okay. The agriculture industry is being toppled. America, along with that, America doesn't produce anything. The American dollar, is being toppled with these various sanctions that America puts on these other nations. It's just these various sanctions are restricting the other nations from using the American dollar. Okay, which is causing what? Inflation here. Okay, and America, because of its various deficits or debt, has made various pacts with China, and these pacts are becoming more and more advantageous for China. Okay, and the purpose of this video here is to show these various deals that that Babylon has with Moab. Okay, and these various pacts or contracts that America has is going to substantially change the face of the U.S. and also greatly impact the American people. And we're seeing this already take place within the agricultural industry. So let me get some various clips for you guys, and I'll get some scriptures, and that'll be it.
With tensions still high between the U.S. and China, a growing number of states are seeking to ban Chinese companies from buying American land. But how big is the potential risk to U.S.
They were trying to do that here in the U.S., but it was boycotted by various Moabite activists, and organizations.
Security. Here's Ryan Nobles.
In Montana, fears about the security threat from China have been growing ever since that Chinese spy balloon soared across its famous big sky.
The Chinese spy balloon was right above us. That woke a lot of people up.
And it's not just worries about America's vulnerability from the air. Now, one of Montana's senators is pushing to keep the Chinese government from buying land nationwide.
China is not our friend right now, and the Chinese Communist Party wants to do bad things.
Senator John Tester is proposing a ban on entities with ties to China and 3 other foreign adversaries from buying American farmland and wants to beef up monitoring of land transactions to foreign buyers.
Right now, we're not paying any attention to it.
The push to prohibit foreign land purchases from China has exploded across America. 15 states have passed laws regulating the practice. Much of the focus coming after controversial purchases in Texas and North Dakota, where Chinese companies bought land and failed to disclose it to the U.S. government. In Grand Forks, North Dakota, city officials recently blocked construction on land purchased by a Chinese company just 12 miles from Grand Forks Air Force Base. The company has said it's just a corn mill and not an espionage risk. But the Air Force had warned that the project presented a, quote, significant threat to national security. Overall, U.S. intelligence rates the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, as a top security threat.
The CCP represents both the leading and most consequential threat to U.S. national security and leadership globally.
Though an NBC News...
See, and they'll say all these things, and I let these various news outlets say these things, but you have to understand the higher up and the aristocrats are making various pacts with the U.S. with the Chinese government, man. Okay, I'm gonna play this one for you guys, and I wish that this dang on video wouldn't play, but that's neither here or there. Here you go.
Since its founding. In the 19th century, homesteaders settled the American West. Today, America boasts 900 million acres of farmland, according to the USDA. That's 40% of our land. And our farms provide food across the world. In 2021, the government says U.S. farmers exported $177 billion in products like soybeans, corn, beef, and pork. According to the Department of Agriculture, American citizens own 97% of privately held farmland and forest in the United States. Some say U.S. farms are a global asset that should be shared. Bloomberg columnist Adam Minter wrote this in August. Food security is enhanced by outsiders who seek economic opportunity in farm country. They should be welcomed. Recently, though, the 3% of farmland owned by foreigners has attracted controversy, specifically a focus on China. Lacking farmland, China has struggled to secure food for its 1.4 billion citizens. Just recently, in August, 4 Chinese government departments warned a drought posed a severe threat to the autumn harvest. That has driven overseas investments in food, including the purchase of Virginia-based pork producer Smithfield Foods and partnership with Growmark, a grain logistics firm. Chinese companies own about a fifth.
Smithfield, that's a shipping company. Not a shipping company, but basically a meat packaging company. There you go. It's a meat packaging company. You know, here you had the Chinese just purchased that, okay?
of 1% of American agricultural land per USDA data. But some lawmakers say Chinese firms shouldn't own American farmland at all.
America cannot allow China to control our food supply. And the President and the Congress should end all farm subsidies for land owned by foreign nationals.
In a July letter to the Agriculture Department, 19 Republican lawmakers said China commits intellectual property theft and has been prosecuted for attempting to steal U.S. seed DNA information. Various congressional bills seek to bar Chinese ownership of farmland.
This amendment would prohibit the purchase of agricultural land in the United States by companies from China, Russia, North Korea, or Iran. The People's Republic of China is only interested in reaping every possible benefit from U.S. land without giving back or considering our future.
14 states limit in some way the foreign ownership of farmland, according to the National Agricultural Law Center. But in Grand Forks, North Dakota, the issue has recently brought national attention and controversy. In the fall of 2021, the city proudly announced the sale of land to a Chinese-owned conglomerate, Fufeng USA.
Fufeng USA chose Grand Forks as their flagship location for a wet corn mill. This will be the largest single private investment in the history of our region.
When I think of the value that Fufeng brings to the industry, to our region, I think of a few things. Success as a community in the future, population stability and growth, great jobs. Not every day does almost $1 billion facility want to be built into your community.
The North Dakota Corn Growers Association said they were excited about the project, but local opposition has been strong.
Your people want to bring communist China to Grand Forks.
The corn mill will sit about 15 miles from an Air Force base. On cable channels, including Fox News, politicians have raised concerns about espionage.
Let me tell you what's going on at these Air Force bases. Number one, the one in North Dakota has some of our...
And you know, which could be an effect of what people aren't talking about is the fact that these various U.S. corporations have allowed the Chinese industry to come over here, you know, and buy up these various corporations. Well, assets, I should say, not corporations, but assets. You know, which shows you how vulnerable right now the American economy is. Okay, this is why they're making these various pacts, because China has enough pull by its strengthen its its economy to not only purchase land but to service America by producing its food. Okay. This shows you how much America is waning. It had to sell a lot of its assets or its capital. Okay. Now, not only are they buying land, but Moab is basically funding the so-called immigration crisis, to basically have it to where their people are gaining asylum by coming through these various channels, to the U.S. Okay, and when they're getting here, they already have various industries they could flow into, corporations they could flow into and work in, and also a strong community in the West. Now, there's been the first non-citizen to be elected in San Francisco to work on its work in the local, I should say, not on, but in the local government in San Francisco, California. Okay, let me show you guys this.
實喺2年前我嚟到三藩市嘅時候咧，咁我就認識咗好多，原來三藩市有好多嘅權利嘅喎，好多權利係好多非公民啊、移民咧都。
So do not adjust your televisions. That was the newest member of the San Francisco Election Commission, speaking in her native tongue. She is not a U.S. citizen yet. She is a Chinese citizen on the Election Commission in San Francisco, commission which oversees local, state, and federal elections. And with that, we bring in John Dennis, who's chair of the Republican Party. And with that, we bring in John Dennis, who's chair of the Republican Party in San.
I want y'all to hear this one more time.
A U.S. citizen yet. She is a Chinese citizen on the Election Commission in San Francisco, commission which oversees local, state, and federal elections.
So is this woman being elected on a committee that oversees who has seats in various local government basically jobs in a sense, man. It's very interesting.
And with that, we bring in John Dennis, who's chair of the Republican Party in San Francisco. John, I thought you could help us understand this because I went through just to understand that this wasn't sort of a ceremonial role or an advisory role. The San Francisco.gov website, the election commissions, we oversee all public elections in San Francisco. So are we to understand that San Francisco has appointed a national citizen of another country, one of our geopolitical enemies, to oversee elections there?
Yeah, and in the shocking turn of events, they didn't. Yeah, in shocking turn of events, they didn't invite a Republican to be on the election commission. There were no other non-citizens who could fill that role. No fair-minded person thinks that this is a reasonable thing.
Okay, so I feel as though a Republican in San Francisco, there's a lot of things you're not invited to, and we always appreciate your sunny disposition, despite getting snubbed in so many ways. But what is the justification behind appointing? And we invited her to come on. I'm told. What is the justification behind appointing someone who is not even a U.S. citizen?
Well, there's something going on here. So there was an article in the San Francisco Standard last week, a leftist organization that couldn't ignore it anymore. San Francisco Republican Registration, the last political entity not controlled by the Democrats in San Francisco, has had registration at an 8-year high. And specifically in the San Francisco Standard article, they said that recent Asian voters are registering Republican in droves. And so I think that this is an effort. The Democrats are making many efforts to stave off this growth in the Republican Party in San Francisco. I think this is one effort. Democrats are also trying.
Yeah, see, he's paid off too. So he's, yes, these various Moabites vote Republican. So he's trying to make it sound more reasonable. But they like these various political parties like to blame each other for certain things, like the immigration crisis ordeal. But these various Republicans, they're making political not political, but economic pacts with China by allowing them to purchase substantial amount of land. And you better believe that a lot of this land is being bought. It's owned by excuse me. It's owned by Republicans. Okay. And really, like as I said earlier, man, they're pulling the plug on this place. Globalization is going to reign. Okay. This is what we're seeing. A lot of these under the table deals happen to keep, that business relationship intact, because America and China still has a very much so interdependent relationship. Okay. And though join hand in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Moab is going to be destroyed right along with Babylon the Great. Even though that it's trying to put itself as a not only developed country, but a powerful country. Its endeavors with Babylon the Great, Moab with Babylon the Great is going to be of no avail. Okay. Now this is 2nd Esdras 15 and 46. And And thou, Asia, that are partaker of the hope of Babylon, and glory, and art the glory of her person. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. That's right. So Asia has become partaker of Babylon by adopting its economic policies. Okay, and within doing so, uh, uh, Asia has taken on customs of Babylon the Great. All right. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. So there you go. These various pects have induced Asia to become assimilated to the ways of Esau Edom, not only economically speaking, but culturally speaking, okay? All right? That thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore saith Yahweh, or the Most High, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And this is coming to Asia, okay? All these political pacts that we see, but economic pacts that we see is going to lead to war, especially in the times that we are living in, where these various nations are making strong endeavors to put themselves in an advantageous situation before the fourth industrial revolution is complete, which is the digitalization of the world. Right? Okay. These various pacts, although Asia is making them, it's not going to be again to any avail. Okay. But we see again these various pacts being made between the U.S. and it shows again the weakness of the U.S. How much the U.S. you know is economically speaking is waning. Okay. All right. So I pray it was edifying. Giving all praise to my heavenly Father's name is Yahweh by Shem Habashah by Shem Karkadash. The ones of the apostles and others are well. Peace and many salutations, brothers, told the truth. Shalom.